Okay,
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Dina, and thanks for the nice and lovely welcome. And welcome, everyone. My name is Buhle Francis. I'm based here at Rose University. I'm a scholar activist, and I work with quite a lot of different people, including the defenders, as you will hear them speaking this afternoon. Our topic is about conservation, preservation, and transition of food systems from land ownership to food. We are discussing the issue of rural farmers, especially women and children. The youths in regard to food production through agroecology practice in the coastline of Eastern Cape. We look at how women have struggling to own land. Culturally, in certain parts of Eastern Cape, women are prohibited from land ownership despite the legal statute that empowers them to do so. And those that have land still face other many challenges, and we look at how they've transitioned from genetically modified crops to organic through conserving, preserving, our nature and the indigenous knowledge, looking at the role of culture in transformation through just transition. This panel brings defenders of defenders who are working in the remote areas of the coastline, and they are the actual people. Our first presenter today is going to be Thabisa Mhlahlo, who is an activist and a defender in a community for many, many years. Thabisa is based in a small town called Keisikamahoek, in a village called Burns Hill in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. She works with over 900 women, and her focus is on reduction of gender-based violence, promotion of access of land for women, promoting the adaptation to climate change, promoting food sovereignty and food security. Thabisa has received many trainings that capacitate and strengthens her to build her community and capacitate others. I hand over to you, Thabisa. Welcome. And I happen to be sharing the space with Thabisa. There you go, Thabisa. Right.
Afternoon, everyone.
Your presentation is coming. Good.
Next slide.
Yes.
Introduction. In 2020, we came together as activists, discussed the issue of gender-based violence, which is GBV, in our areas as it was increasing. We identified that most affected GBV women are those who depended on their male counterparts for upkeeping support. We then called all the women in our community and we discussed the issue and introduced the issue of the backyard gardens. This we had learned in different areas, in other areas. All women were interested in being independent through home backyard gardens. In order to reach out many other women within the community, we came out with the market day. Next slide. As we met, we were carrying out home backyard gardens and we had to seek funding so as to purchase garden implements and seedlings and seeds. We also conducted training for agroecology. During our home backyard garden monitoring, we realized that the gardens were successful despite the water challenge in Eastern Cape as they adopted agroecology. In order to reach out to more women in our communities, we came up with the market days in our farming calendar. A market day is, in our definition, is whereby women or farmers come with their own produce and sell in an open space for the day. Through this market day, we realized that it was sustainable and women managed to purchase seedlings and continue growing their home backyard gardens. Next slide. As we grew and expand, many women realized the backyard gardens was not enough sustainable food production as they wanted to be subsistence. Home backyard gardens was enough for personal food consumption. Hence, they needed to produce more in order to sell some produce so they meet other needs. But the challenge was women accessing land to expand gardens. Next slide. Next slide. In Eastern Cape, many women prohibited by the leaders such as chiefs. This has been going for many years. One of the reasons why women is not supposed to own the land in Eastern Cape is due to cultural beliefs. For example, the belief is that the land belongs to man who is the head of the house. If you are single female parent, you are supposed to have a male son who is able to access land to own land ownership. And if you have no son, at least you should have a brother or an uncle who will be owned, who have to own that piece of land. In the event of single parent not having son, she has to find help from other male relatives, such as uncle or brothers, cousins. And if they don't exist, that's it, no access to land. This cultural belief has been going for so many years, and many women are being affected. Therefore, as women defenders, we decided to adopt 1 woman, 1 hectare campaign, which we launched in 2015. But the rural development launched 1 household, 1 hectare access still was problematic to us as men were recognized household heads. 1 woman, 1 hectare campaign promotes the access of land in women. By ensuring that the campaign becomes successful, we petition cooperative governance of traditional authority, that is COGTA, and repeated this in 2021. In 2021, we elaborated that we wanted 1 woman, 1 hectare, and it must have clean land, clean water so that we can produce. We sent a petition to the relevant department, and they responded and signed and are sure to respond within 14 days. In 40 days, no response. We then followed up with the letters demanding our response. Also visited their offices for meetings. We resolved by submission of doing a database name of affected women in the Eastern Cape that we work with, that have capacity and interest in agroecology farming. The database is that of women. The campaign is an ongoing activity. We have transitioned from somewhere, and I am certain women will have the freedom at last, because in some areas, some chiefs are becoming to be friendly and open up. I just talk. Okay, the campaign is an ongoing campaign. Hence, I said in my presentation that we experience the high rate of GBV in Eastern Cape in my area. Okay, in my area, because many women are not working, many women are jobless, and they are depending on their spouses and husband. And now the husband are getting tired and they becoming abusing them. So that's the reason why we decided to do this campaign. We want women to grow up vegetables and support their families and feed themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Talisa. Thank you very much. I Our next presenter is going to be Busisiwe Gangane, who is a farmer and a defender in their community. Busisiwe is going to talk about food systems. She is an activist who is an agroecology farmer based in Hillview Farm in East London. However, she started farming way back in 2011, doing piggery and taking, just prior to that, she was actually promoting food nutrition where she was selling it in Kabeha, a town which formerly known as Port Elizabeth. She is an activist and defender of the vendors who promotes agroecology, and she has taken many courses of trainings that has capacitated her to carry out this work. Over to you, Busisiwe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As described, my name is Busisiwe. I'm an agroecology farmer in the Eastern Cape. May I please have the slides? Okay, I am going to talk on from land ownership to food. As Thabisa has spoken about the problems of land, I'm going to talk about just transition. What is just transition? The Eastern Cape Coastline farmers, like many rural backyard communal land smallholder farmers, have been exposed to ecologically damaging industries that are now shifting to more sustainable practices. And remember, these are the farmers that Thabisa was talking about that are having GBV. These farmers should definitely not be the ones to carry the risks and pay the price for all the past ills and damages caused by those damaging industries, because it was not their fault. These farmers should have a central voice in the transition, which must actively benefit them as vulnerable groups. And I mean Black farmers, farm workers, and communities. Next slide, please. This must happen in ways that are socially inclusive and equitable, that center around the needs of farmers, the workers, and the communities. And you will see that it is the farmers will be women that are the ones that are organizing food for their families, that are putting food on the table, that are organizing that their family eat. Simply greening industries and protecting jobs will not realize a just society, but will leave existing exploitative relations in place, because now we see most governments are talking about greening industries, corporate and also industrialists are talking about greening industries, and they are talking about protecting jobs. Yes, that is good, but just doing that will not realize a just society, but it will leave those that have been vulnerable to be exploited more and more. There should be focus on deeper changes to realize the objectives of a just transition. Next slide. And then the Eastern Cape women are turning to agroecology as an alternative to a system of food production that is in harmony with nature. And as you see here, there's abundance of food, there's vegetables, there's fruits, there's herbs. Next slide. Agroecology looks at food production, at distribution, at preparation and processing that do not promote waste of food and that reduces emissions. As we know that in the era that we are in today, because of the emissions, we have got a lot of problems with climate change. There are droughts, there are fires, there is everything that is going wrong. Agroecology brings about food sovereignty. Food sovereignty looks at more equal distribution of roles and benefits to those involved in the food systems, equitable livelihoods, decent jobs, and decent income for workers. This is something that food security is not looking at, but we in the Eastern Cape and as these farmers that have been disadvantaged, we're looking at sovereignty because we're also looking at the culture in agriculture that has been lost because of this industrial farming. Next slide, please. Agroecology increases the resilience of food and ecological systems. It strengthens adaptation capacity. It enhances biodiversity and contributes to landscape restoration. So this goes hand in hand with the earth. It goes hand in hand with the environment, and also goes hand in hand with the humans as consumers of this healthy food, and also the wild animals and everything that is in the environment. The right to food and improved nutrition should be the right for all citizens, irrespective of class, race, or color. This talks to the scenario that organic farming is very expensive and people are putting high price, and organic food has become to be not accessible to the vulnerable, whereas it is their right to food and to be having improved nutrition as citizens of this world. Agroecology produces a wide density of nutritious foods accessible to all and according to culture. This is made possible because if one now builds the soil, the fertility of the soil, such that that soil is so fertile that it has got all the nutrition that is needed by the crop, which crop will transfer it to a human being for health. Next slide, please. Agroecology is a bottom-up approach, and because local landscape, soils, climate, and socioeconomic conditions, as well as culture in each place are unique and different, the way agroecology is practiced cannot be the same everywhere. So with that bottom-up approach, there is nobody who says to you, you must do this and that. In your area that you are in, you have to use the available resources for as long as they are looking at the principles of ecology, which I will tell later. And for as long as you are able to take care of the environment, the humans, the health, and all that is very much looking at being an advocate for health and environment. Agroecology, like I'm saying, is a bottom-up approach. So it therefore applies common principles from sustainable systems to the local context, resulting in different practices and solutions on the ground around the world, but it maintains the principles of care, health, ecology, and fairness. Agroecology resists dominant corporate trade and industrial food systems. Instead, it promotes circular and solidarity economies through localized and territorial markets based on transport networks between producers and consumers. And if you see and remember, COVID-19 has taught us a lot about this, that local is as lekker, as we say it in South Africa. Localized and territorial markets, which are based on transport, are the key to what we are calling sustainability and resilience. Seed, land, and water are also integral parts of agroecology in building climate resilience in the food system for a just transition. Without seed, there could be no food. Without land, there could be no food. And water is the part of that which needs to be conserved, as it is a very scarce resource. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sis Busi. Thank you very much for the presentation. We have heard from the farmer herself, and now we want to know what happens when the farmer has farmed and the seed. What happens to the seed? We will hear from Aviwe Biko, who lives in Masingata location in the Eastern Cape. Aviwe is the seed defender and the defender of defenders, champion of champions, and also a seed garden and agroecology farmer in her own right. She started to be involved in farming way back in 2007, working as an activist with an organization called Zingiza Educational Project. She's also a member of Farmers Union. She believes that there's no food without a seed, something which she is so passionate about. She started to form networks with other seed savers for sharing for indigenous knowledge way back. She has shared many food with many people. Seed sharing and multiplications is a very good thing to do because it increases the volume of seed that her and others believe in. As an activist, she also became involved in the struggles of seed sovereignty and fight against the seed bill that the South African government imposed so as to stop rural communities in practicing their culture of sharing the seed. Over to you, Aviwe. Thank you.
Good day, farmers. After a very long day. Yeah, okay. I'll go on with the slides, Tana-san. Okay. The introduction, it goes like this: why I became a seed-saving defender of women. In rural areas in the Eastern Cape, one of the means of surviving is through farming. However, with climate change and global warming, farming faces various challenges, especially in women. In order to improve crop production, the land has to be fertile. Hence, the production of genetically modified organisms, that is GMOs, defeats this. In order to manage food systems, I had to promote agroecology as an alternative within my community since 2007. Change the slides, Tano-san. In my rural areas, there was a high rate of gender-based violence against women, which motivated me to stand up against and be counted in. One of the things that increased GBV against women and children in my community was poverty, amongst others, and many women dependent on men for survival. With climate change increase, e.g. drought, women in my community lost interest in establishing backyard food gardens. As women, we decided to meet and form study circles where I was selected as the leader or the defender of defenders. I met Zingisa, an organization that works with poor rural communities in conservation farming, preservation of food systems. Oh, the slide is too far. It's too far. Can we increase this? Can we increase subtitles? Yes, that's better. Yeah. It was too fine. Okay.
Too big now.
Yeah, it's better now. Okay, I met with Zingisa, an organization that works with poor rural communities in conservation, preservation of food systems. We were engaged in various trainings around agroecology as a way of managing climate change. Since then, I became the defender of defenders in my community and surrounding areas. I have established various learning sites or the demonstration sites in the Eastern Cape. In these sites, women, they would come and learn about the use of seed saving for food production, and they return back to their villages to share the information with the others. Through knowledge sharing, there is an increase of learning sites or demonstration sites in different communities that is assisting women. Change the slide, dear. Okay, these pictures, it demonstrates that during the establishment of food gardens, agroecology gardens, there has to be the different kinds of plot designs. Like this one on my left is a raised bed where it assists in pest control and also for rainwater harvesting. And the other one there next to it is intercropping, where you plant your food and also your herbs. That would also assist your plants, and also that would assist you when you've got flu. You must be able to pick up the umhlonyana, all the herbs that can cure you, maybe for flu, something like that. Yeah, this is what is happening there, the intercropping, where in the small space of land, you would find the different kinds of food, enough food and herbs that would feed your family, and also the medicinal plants that can assist you in your health and also in your plants. Yes, okay, you can change the slide. Increase a little bit. Yes, the transitioning from GMO seeds to open pollinated varieties, that is OPV. The OPV organic seeds, these seeds are that are chemically free and can be dried and preserved to the next season. The OPV seeds are drought resistant, disease resistant, and also promote health food production. In our food circles, we started to promote seed saving as form of increasing food production in our villages and in our communities. As a step this circle, we would meet and share knowledge and experience, whereby when we go back to our communities, we share with others, so that those who haven't attended the session would share the information, and also they would go back and also do the same thing. So that always be the training of trainers. You see the process, because you come and train, and then you go back and train the others. That way, we touched and brought into program a lot of women. Currently, we are working with over 1,000 women in different municipalities and provinces in South Africa. Increase a little bit. Yeah, okay. The pictures that you are looking at on my right-hand side is different seed savers. As you can see me on the left side, Eddie Parichi, Busisiwe Mganxena, and others. We are there in Zimbabwe for the exchange of visits, because we as farmers, we are promoting the exchange of visits so that we can go and learn how do other seed savers, how do they increase their seeds, or how do they preserve their seeds. All the information sharing, all the experiences, we always go there and share the experiences. So it continues by saying, we have established seed exhibition and seed festivals, where we promote the sharing and multiplication of seed. Naturally, our people have indigenous knowledge of how to save and preserve seeds. Seeds are the key to food production. The platform itself promotes social cohesion and cultural preservation, which is very important. With one seed, we can feed the whole nation. Can you increase just a little bit? Okay, with one seed, we can feed the whole nation. It means this. During the seed exhibition, all women would come with the seed that you have in your household. You'll bring the seed that you have. Then all women will come and exchange the seeds. In that way, you are increasing the volume of the traditional seeds in our areas. So by saying one seed, you can feed the whole nation. It means that if I say you with one seed, we would go back and multiply the seed, because if I give you one seed, you'll plant the seed, then it will give you more and more. For instance, if I give you one seed of maize, when you go back and plant it, it will give you a comb that contains many, many seeds in it, maybe more than more than 50. So that is why it is very important that women must gather so that they can come up with the seed that they have and the information and the origins. You must be able to have that information. Where to get the seed? What is the name of the seed? The planting season, the origin, all the information you must be able to have. You must be able even to write it down so that when you share the seed, you must also give the farmer with the information, documented one, so that whenever the seed saver goes back to his or her irrespective of respective farm, you would go back and able to check, maybe she forgot the name of the seed. So if you give him or her the documented information, it's easier for her to go back and check whatever. So that's what it means here. Then it goes by saying, through networking of women farmers, we created a platform where women can speak out and be financially independent. That can avoid GBV. Can you see that if all women can have their own food gardens or their food production, she would be able to go back and go to the market and sell her produce and be able to get money for her to buy electricity and other stuff, be free from GBV, be able to be independent financially from men. That is why the men they always abuse us, because they know that whatever they are doing to us, even if they are abusing us, we must keep quiet. Don't voice out, because we are depending financially from them. So we are trying to avoid this by women to have their own produce, good quality produce, so that they can take it to the market, whether locally or where, but they must be able to take the produce to the market, be able to have her finances, able to manage herself and whatever. You see, it is important for women to be financially independent, and this can be through organic farming. Recently in Eastern Cape, we had a young woman who took her life, and that of her three minor children, due to challenges of hunger, and she left a suicidal note. And this story, it touches most of women's, or globally, it has touched many people, because we never thought that after 1994, after the democratic country, after the elected government, having the good constitution in South Africa that is painted to be the best in the whole world, we never thought that would happen one day. That because it touched the whole world. We never thought that would happen, really, because the lady, she left a suicidal note to say, I could not handle to listen to the voices of my minor children saying, I'm hungry, crying for food, yet she couldn't provide the food. So she decided to take her life and both of the children, so that everything can be, she can be free from all this. So it's touching. We would want to expand the other communities such as hers. Okay, why this is one of the realities. Okay, we've left me now. Open, okay. I've lost you. You've lost me also. Hello? Yeah, okay. Why this is one realities that women are facing out there. Those that have taken part in agroecology are in a better position. We would want to expand the other communities such as hers. Through sharing and multiplication of seed, we can feed the nation and stop hunger and stop the unnecessary suicides. Despite that Eastern Cape is dry region, through agroecology principles, we are managing to produce food for our families and sell other produce to, okay. so that we can get money. Can you change the slide here? The conversation, preservation, and transitioning. Through seed saving, we are giving all women participating their dignity back and reaching out to the other women out there. This means this: if you do have a seat, you know you have that dignity, you have that thing that you own. So your name will be written in the books of South Africa, because, for instance, Busisiwe Mganxena is a seed saver, having such, she's good in what maize is that? ZM what I forgot, but it's the original seed that came from Zimbabwe. So if you do have a seed, you have that dignity. You have that because people would want to look for you because you have something that they want, the seed. Because if you do have a seed, I'm telling you, my dear, you do have a dignity. You do have you see that, I don't know how to put it. So each woman, each seed, this way we conserve, preserve, and transition from GMOs to friendly organic seeds.
ZM 1523, have you?
Hello? ZM28, yes, ZM23, the one that came from, the white one that came from Zimbabwe. Thank you, Busi. I'm not so sure where I am now. Okay. We face such dangers of suicide if we don't give women dignity. What I see is that more and more households are participating in seed saving as they have established family seed banks. My seed, my culture, my heritage. As Africans, we used to have an identity and dignity through seed saving. Hence, we are trying to revive that because it was introduced by the promotion of use of GM. Okay. As Africans, we used to have that identity and dignity through seed saving. Hence, we are trying to revive that because it was eroded by the promotion of the use of GMOs, which are fast to mature and be eaten. And yes, through seed exchange visit to other countries which are practicing agroecology, such as Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Tanzania, it creates women's empowerment and provide a platform to voice out. Through seed saving, we are able to preserve and restore our culture by using the indigenous knowledge, which is our forefathers had always used. As a seed activist and a defender, I am using seed to unite and promote social cohesion within my community. Here is Isandla Semvene, the hand of a baboon, that is part of my culture. Because, I mean, the history of a baboon's hand, back in the days, seed savers used to keep a dry baboon's hand underneath their seeds. After they have sorted out their seed that will be planted in the next season, they had that indigenous knowledge and beliefs that when you do that, your yield will increase. Then during the colonization, when the white minority came to claim what belongs to us, it includes our spirituality, culture, and our dignity. They arrested and put them in prison, all those who is having the hand of a baboon, claiming that they have no license to own it or to hunt. And there was a question by the Africans saying, license for what? Because really Africans used to do wild animal hunting and get this baboons and also they used to to hunt and get wild fruit as part of their nutritious food. Then Africans gathered and seek for the solutions of the hand of a baboon because they could see that people are arrested. Then they came up with the solution that they must replace it with isukulu. Isukulu is the shells that you can see there in the picture, the shells that you pick up next to the sea. So I think no one would be arrested for that because the shells are lying there. No one can own it. So that's why they decided to replace with the hand of a baboon with the sukulu. This booklet that you are seeing in the picture is a small book that contains seed savers like Mrs. Peter, Busim Kanela, and all the seed savers around the country. They are gathered there. The information, the name of all the seed information is in the booklet. So it is very important that women can document their struggles, even their seeds. They can document them. Even the information must be documented so that the information must be found there, even for the generation who come. That is why we do have this booklet, because it contains the seed savers and the seeds and the name of and the history of the seed. Yeah. I conclude by saying to the South African government, I conclude by saying the South African government policies always in favor of the capitalists. That is why women strongly believe that Section 25 of the Constitution must be amended so as to liberate women and children from poverty. I thank you. Forward with the traditional seed, forward. Forward with the traditional seed savers, forward. Down with the seed bills, down. Down with the seed bills, down.
Okay,
We do.
Okay, thank you so much, Sis Aviwe. The next speaker is Xolisa, but Xolisa is here online, managed to join us. He is struggling with network, and we don't have much time. So I think what we'll do, I'm wondering if Dina, we can play his recording or give him the opportunity to present. Xolisa is a youth. Then the whole idea is to say, okay, you have seen the farmer farming, the seed saver saving the food. What happens then? What's the sustainability of the agroecology? So we included the youths. Xolisa is from Mkumbu Youth Center, where they are practicing agroecology. He will tell us why they decided to take up farming as youths. Thank you. Over to you, Xolisa, if you can present or you want us to play your recording.
Good afternoon to everyone. Maybe I can present, but if you can't hear me properly, can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Xolisa.
Yes, then I can present.
Thank you. Okay, you will play. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much. My name is Xolisa Duane. I'll be presenting together with Uboy Tumeng Tweni. Our presentation is conservation, preservation, and transition of Mkumbu Youth Cooperative in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. So where it all began, sorry, as the unemployed youth, we came together. We became a home garden activist due to challenges that we were facing in our community. These challenges, they range from drug abuse, drought, lack of employment, high costs of zokutya, transport, and generally poverty. So we generally with climate change, we became even more vulnerable as we struggle to adapt to a climate changing environment. So we therefore decided to self-organize, mobilize ourselves so that we can be able to make a living for ourselves, so that we don't fall to these challenges that I've mentioned above. So it was exciting, still exciting as we began. So our transition, it began when we came together, we brainstormed, we shared ideas, and then we realized that the solution was right within our hands. It was we had all the natural resources around us. We had land, we had manure, we had even offers of plants. So we started 7 years ago, backyard gardens. So our community, in our communities, our guardians and parents were already introduced in conventional agriculture. They were already using fertilizers, which were wrong for the soil. They were depleting soil fertility and were harmful to their health, and they cause these climate change problems. But by then, they didn't know. They just accepted what the government was giving them, thinking that these things are good. But in actual fact, they were not. So we had learned about agroecology, and then we decided to transit and adopt it as a way of sustainable farming. So we changed from conventional into agroecology, that is natural farming using natural resources that were around us. So from 2017, from 2016 to 2017, we were fortunate enough to host a learnership program that was led by 11 youth activists, which directly impacted village Yetu and our surrounding villages. We produce large quantities of healthy vegetables, which you can see on the picture next to these slides, which were not poisonous to our customers. So we did manage to produce those vegetables, as you can see, and that it had a positive impact on our lives, and the women and the youth in our villages. They were able to have healthy food. So in 2016 and 2017, we created youth employment, and we made connection with a number of positive organizations. And to us, it is where the deeper learning into agroecology, it happened in those years. So as youth activists, we were part of the people who were always urging our communities to move away from these vegetable which are produced in a poisonous way by these large farmers. We're always consistently saying, let's go organic. Let's do it in an organic way. As you can see in the picture, we can do it. We can produce a vegetable that are healthy in an organic and safe way without using these harmful pesticides. So we transited from conventional farming into organic farming. And in 2018 and 2019, those years, they became the peak of our farming in our communities, with an increase in production, and we resulted in an increase in casual employment, because from time to time we would take people, unemployed youth, unemployed women, to come help us in our farming area, and then we will pay them casually from time to time, so that in those years it increased. And then we also increase healthy vegetables in shop, even though our organic was not recognized and put aside as organic in the shops we are selling to. but we see ourselves as having an impact on the people buying the product, buying the veg, that they are eating healthy vegetables, and then in the shops and then in the market. So we are strongly still today voicing out the wrong use of these hybrid and these GMO seeds, as they prohibit us as farmers to have a consistent production, and they make us rely on the capitalist system. So we impacted a lot in the reduction of the supply of these GMO and hybrids by the government in our community. And as the government was promoting this, it was constantly sending large quantities to our villages of these poisons, and we continuously still are speaking to them, and they are now changing and saying people must use what they have, meaning organic material, meaning manure, meaning compost. So as youth activists and the women we're working with, and as food defenders, we started to take control of what we eat, and we are urging people must also across the world take control of what they eat. They must know who is producing what they eat, how is it produced, so that they can live a healthier and a longer life. So in order to continue farming, we started by seeing that we need to transit from buying seed and produce our own seeds. So we learned from the people we connected with on how to combine or do a full cycle in seed saving, and the importance of farming when you have your own seeds. So when you have your own seeds, you don't harvest everything. We usually leave some crops to bolt. Once they bolt, we select the best seeds. Once we select the best seeds, and then we are able to dry them, collect and harvest them, and then we are able to, to sort the seed and then plant the seeds in the next season, and then when they grow again, they become vegetables, and then we don't harvest everything, we leave, and then the cycle goes on and on. We've been able to do this with the assistance of many organizations, but we haven't fully mastered the full cycle in every vegetables, as there are companies that are giving us hybrids and GMO seeds, posing them as organic seeds. So in order to have a full cycle, we identified a long time ago and still are saying we cannot save these GMOs and hybrids. We need to save organic seeds. So we are also promoting a natural use of pesticides, which are environmentally friendly. And even if your crop is fully damaged, we believe with a natural pest and these ways of farming that we use, it can come back to life. Because I'm remembering a year ago, we had a locust outbreak. It came to our farming site, it destroyed everything. But through our farming practice, the government was always saying, spray, use these harmful pesticides. It's the only way. And then we were saying, no, there is an alternative. We can use natural pest and disease control, and they can solve these problems. As a result, when we correctly use these natural pesticides, the locusts, they migrated, they fled from our farming area, and then we were able to produce and we were able to make our vegetables come back to life. So as you can see on the picture, we are saying you can go organic and then you can produce good quality, even if you go organic. You don't have to opt out for these dangerous pests and fertilizers that is given to our nation. So we came across a lot of challenges along the way, and I think those challenges, they actually made us stronger, because sometimes there were diseases and infections that we came across. One time, all of our cabbage bolted in this buying the wrong seeds from people before we were saving our own seed. At the other times, the animal would enter our farming area, would eat everything. This also, it happened to us last week, as our fence is not new, so we're using natural material in some places of our farming area to close for the animals. So last week the sheep, they came in, they ate almost everything, but we were lucky. We were there in time to not lose everything. So there is even this water crisis issue, and we go days and sometimes weeks without water. But there are mitigation strategies that we are having. We're able to get assisted with the JoJo tank, and we bought one JoJo tank, but still they are not enough. So we dig holes in the ground so that we can collect as much rain and have a small dam. We also do a lot of farming practices like mulching, trench bed, trenches, raised bed, and so on. So in there was even once that locust outbreak I mentioned, but you'd be amazed at what natural farming can do. So as transiting, we also wanted to let other people know. So we began to train other farmers across the Eastern Cape. We are training a lot of villages in towns, getting assistance from various organizations, helping communities extend their knowledge and in farming, because we say you already have the knowledge, you already have the natural resources. It's just extending and doing. So we always promoting organic farming where we go, as I've mentioned in different farming practices like mulching, drip irrigation, use of manure, we compost to improve your soil, plant cover. We do it tower gardens, trench beds, we do raised beds. We also emphasize farmers to do liquid manure and save their own seed and share the seeds with other farmers, combining all this in this rainwater harvesting and conservation techniques, using also grey water when there is no water or limited water, with the natural pest and disease control that I mentioned. So throughout the years, I feel safe to say we have positively impacted many communities, and we strive to do more and more as the years come. So we also say we want to join in other organizations, and other organizations can join with us and work with us to be the change in our communities, especially in the rural areas where the poor are the poorest. So as you can see on the picture, we're saying together we can. Those are some of the highlights of what we've been doing throughout the year.
Thank you, Connie, sir.
I can't see the next slide, but I wanted to say.
Thank you. I think you can end here so we can give the participants so that we can interact with them. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that today all of us managed to join. And now our session ends here. I'm wondering if there's anyone from the participants who may want to comment. Over to you, Dina.
I'm sorry, I stopped. I thought the slideshow was over. I can show Lisa's slides if should we just show them quickly? Lisa, I'm sorry.
No, we did see the slides up to the end.
There
No,
is
no, you need to
more.
go to the end.
There were
There
a
are
few.
two only left.
Maybe we can just show those quickly. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so Kolisa, you can go ahead and speak about the good other people that you met along the way.
Yeah, because of time, maybe you can just show the slides and then I'll end it there as you've said. But basically, it's about the people we've met along the way. We've met very good organizations, and we are looking forward to these organizations that we are meeting even today, that may have a positive impact in the rural communities.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
And these organizations, they promoting what we are promoting as well, agroecology, and they are saying no to all this social injustice.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kolisa. Over to you, Dina.
Thank you to all of you for all your presentations. I have to say, because I don't know if everyone in the audience will realize that in order to be part of this panel, most of our presenters have had to travel very far to get to a place where they've got stable internet, and you know, all the challenges that they've been talking about in relation to farming. There are also obviously challenges in relation to data and electricity, and so I just really wanted to extend a very special thanks to all of you for being here and for sharing those experiences with us. It's been very amazing to hear about them. I don't know if there are okay, we've got a question in the audience. So there's
yeah, there is
in the chat. You're also, I'm going to stop the recording, sorry, just in case anyone wants to